Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today let's wrap up all the books I read in the month of September. Alright guys, so I read a lot of books in September, like a lot. So we're not going to spend too much time talking about these. I'm going to try to go through them as quickly as I possibly can. And a lot of these I do have in reading vlogs already, or they are going to be in upcoming reading vlogs. So just keep that in mind. If you want to know more, you can reach out to me, ask a question. I'll have some content and trigger warnings down in the description box. Or you can wait or check out the reading vlogs that they are in. So let's get on into it. So for the month of September, I read 16 whole whopping books worth. Insane. I know, I'm not sure if I've ever read that much in a month before, but I did this month, so I'm a crazy person. Let's get into what I read. The first book that I read was Trail Rides and Starry Eyes by Katrina Emmel. This was an arc that I got through NetGalley. We'll pop it up when this came out or comes out if it has not come out yet. I also apologize for my voice, guys, because I have been sick. So I'm finally getting better, but my voice is not fully back yet. So this one was a YA romance that I got as an arc through NetGalley. And it was decent. I gave it a 3 stars. I didn't love this one, but I did enjoy the Wyoming ranch setting that it was set at. The chemistry was just kind of lacking between our two main characters for me. I didn't really feel a big connection with them. I felt like there was just more of an instant attraction going on. I didn't love this author's writing. There was nothing bad about it, but nothing like drew me in initially. But this is clean, no spice in it. It is YA and it had no language. Right, and the second book that I read was The House Across the Lake. This is by Riley Sager. It is a thriller mystery, I guess. This follows a widow named Casey who is hiding away in her family's lake house up in Vermont. And a lot of stuff happens. I enjoyed this one pretty thoroughly. I gave it a 3.75 stars. It does have a good bit of content, so check those warnings if down in the description box if you'd like to know. But I quite enjoyed it. It surprised me. I'm not as big into those types of thrillers because they don't surprise me very much and they seem to do the same thing and have way too much content in it. But this one actually surprised me, did something different. It had several plot twists instead of just one big one at the end. So I enjoyed my time with it. The next book that I read, I actually have a physical copy of, and that is Love, Rosie. This is by Cecilia Ahern. Did not love this one though, guys. I am going to be unhauling this copy of mine because I didn't love it. This follows two best friends over a span of about 50 years, basically just missing each other all their lives, even though they're soulmates. And it just had a lot of selfishness and ickiness and like awfulness going on throughout the story, and I just really didn't like it or enjoy my time reading it. So just not the romance for me. Again, content down in the description box, and I do have a reading vlog with this one and one before this one, and then several others all in my reading my Kindle Until It Dies vlog, which I will link somewhere. This book that I read was Wormwood Abbey. This is the first book in the Secrets of Ormdale series, I believe. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, by Christina Bayer, I believe. This one follows Edith, which is a Victorian clergyman's daughter. After they get a letter from some estranged family members, they end up traveling to this gothic old abbey. And there ensues a lot of stuff. This was such a great start to this series. I really enjoyed it, and I would definitely recommend it. I give this one a 4.25 stars. If you like gothic vibes, if you like friendship, Christian themes, dragons, this book is for you, so go check this one out, guys. The next book I read was Hickory Dickory Death by Agatha Christie. This one is one of the Poirot novels, and in this one, it's a little bit slower paced. We follow Poirot investigating a series of strange events happening, and a bunch of things of robbery, actually, thievery, I guess, happening at this hostel. And so this one is a lot slower paced, more just like mystery based, solving like what's going on and why this is happening. I enjoyed it decently well. I gave it a 3 stars. There was nothing amazing about this one, but I always enjoy a good Agatha Christie. The next book I read was Between the Sound and Sea by Amanda Cox. I gave this one a 3.75 stars, and in it we follow our main character, Josephina, as she goes off and accepts a job to restore a lighthouse in another town after her family name is tarnished and her business is having a hard go of it. So she goes off and she is working to restore this lighthouse. There's a lot of historical elements around the lighthouse and the old lighthouse keeper's past and all that. So that kind of has a whole mystery twisted into it, and there's also little hints of a romance. I personally did not love the romance too overly much. I felt like it kind of felt a little out of place for this story, but the historical and mystery aspects is really what brought me into the story. It just was a little bit slower paced and took a little bit to get off. I still enjoyed it, and it is a Christian fiction or historical fiction, so it does have some of those themes in it. They're not super, super heavy, I don't think, but definitely have a little bit more towards the end. The next book I read was Drake Hall by Christina Bear. This is the second book in the Secrets of Ormdale series. This one I enjoyed. I only gave it a 4 stars. It was a bit slower paced for me. Not as much was happening in this one. I still enjoyed it. It was a fun, cozy read. I like the vibes and just the feel of this world in the series. This one definitely set up a lot for the rest of the series, I could tell, and I enjoyed all of the developing relationships we were getting between the characters within it. So still enjoying this series and would recommend it for sure. Next up, we have The Icing on the Cake by Grace Worthington. I give this one a 4 stars. It was an ARC from the author, so thank you so much, Grace, for allowing me to read this ahead of time. I believe this one is out. I think it came out at the end of September there. So if you're looking for a fun, cozy fall read with hockey and baking, this is it for you. We follow our main girl, who is a baker, as she has sworn off hockey players because her ex-hockey player boyfriend cheated on her. So we kind of like watch her deal with struggling to trust people throughout this as she meets our new main male character. I think his name is Lucian or something like that, and he's the biggest sweetheart. So this deals with kind of that aspect, and it also does deal with the grief of losing her mother. So it does have some of those heavier aspects, but I think it was very nicely done, and still, you know, within the setting of a light rom-com, and it did have some very nice fun fall autumnal vibes in it too. So definitely would recommend. It's a clean, closed door, no spice romance, and no language. And then the next book that I read was The Baxters. This is a prequel to her Baxter series. This is by Karen Kingsbury. This is a huge series from her. I think they even made a TV show out of it. This is the prequel, so this kind of sets everything up. I haven't read any of the other ones. In this, we follow for the first half Elizabeth Baxter as she's getting ready for her wedding. She's contemplating whether she should do this. We're getting some pass from her. And then throughout the rest of the story, we kind of get passed from one of her other sisters, but we also get little snippets from her brother and her mom and her dad and stuff like that. So I think it really did kind of set up to kind of make us intrigued and interested in their stories and what's going to happen next and more of their past and all this stuff that's happened. But it is very drama-filled, guys. So this is a Christian book, though, Christian fiction book. So if you're looking for something more like drama filled and that might frustrate you a little bit, like reading it, because it sure did frustrate me with how bad these people communicated and crazy they were at points. But you want it filled with like those Christian themes and not like some of the filth of the world, then I would definitely recommend it. I gave it a 3.75 stars. I enjoyed my time with it quite well. The next book that I read was Belonging with Her Best Friend by Kristen Canary. I give this one a 3.75 stars. And in this one, it is a friends to lovers romance, and we follow Shelby, who gets a role, like the lead role actually, in a school musical when somebody ends up getting injured. And Shelby is in love with her long-term best friend, and she can't tell him for some unknown reason because she can't take something away from him. So there's kind of a little bit of a mystery, you know, like some rom-coms do, of like, oh, why? What is this thing that she can't tell him? I think Kristen here did a really good job of doing the chemistry between these two. I love friends to lovers romance, and I think this one was done decently, you know, well and stuff. There was nothing amazingly over the top about it for me, but it did deal with little bits of grief and infertility and stuff. So had a little bit heavier there, but mostly light and fun. And it is a clean, closed door with no language, no spice. And the next book I read was Annihilation. This is by Jeff Vandermeer. This is the first book in the Southern Reach trilogy of his. And guys, this book was a absolute trip. Oh my goodness. This is a sci-fi horror kind of novel, and my dear goodness, I have no idea what I read. This is so hard. I can't even properly explain it to you. Basically, we follow the 12th expedition as they go into Area X. What they're going into Area X in and like for, and what Area X is, I can't really like properly tell you, because I don't think the people in this world and in this book and in Area X even know. But they're sent there to kind of observe and map and to try to keep themselves from being contaminated, as they deem it. So this book was crazy. I went into it not knowing much of anything, and I came out of it and I still like know nothing. Like, what the heck just happened? What did I read? I was literally telling my husband about like every single little thing, and he kept asking me questions, and I was like, I have no freaking idea. Give it a 3.75 stars. I enjoyed it. I don't know half of what I read, but I enjoyed it. This whole mystery intrigue of Area X really has me sucked in, so I'm ready to read the next one, honestly. Like, I'm here for it. I want to read the trilogy and see what the heck is going on. So, yeah, if you're like me, might be something you'd be interested in. The next book that I read was Homeseeking by Carissa Chan. This I gave a 4 stars. This one is going to be coming up. I think this one and most of the rest of these, maybe minus 1 or so, are going to be an upcoming reading vlog, so I'm not going to talk too much on this, but I will tell you a little bit what they're about. So Homeseeking follows our 2 main characters, Haiwen and Suchi, and it's a very character-driven novel. It's a historical fiction, and we follow them over the span of like 60 years. The really cool thing about this book, though, is that we are following one perspective at like their childhood going forward, and then we follow the other perspective in the present day going backwards. So it's like really trippy, but also really, really interesting. It's a historical fiction, and when it starts to take place in the past timeline, it's kind of World War II time, and so they are in China at that time, and so we kind of see some of the aspects of that during World War II under the Japanese reign, and then when the Japanese are like leave, and then you have the nationalists and the communists fighting it out, and the communists finally winning. It's an insane thing to see, in something I hadn't read before in a historical fiction, so I really enjoyed those aspects. It is very character driven. There's a lot of stuff that happens with these characters, a lot of stuff morally that I don't necessarily agree with, and a lot of content. And I feel like this is why I don't read a ton of historical fiction, because of some of the content and some of the stuff morally that some of these characters do. I could not give it more than a 4 stars, but I did really enjoy it. And honestly, Carissa Chan's writing is beautiful. She did do a wonderful job on this one. The next one we have is Olivetti. This is a middle grade by Allie Millington, and I gave this one a 4.5 stars. I enjoyed this one. We follow a typewriter named Olivetti, his perspective, and also one of his owner's perspective, Ernest. I enjoyed Olivetti's perspective so much. This was very fun. They band together. Olivetti breaks his rule of not talking to humans, and he helps them find their mom. So it's really wholesome. It does deal with some deeper themes, especially for a middle grade, but I think she did a good job dealing with it, and it's pretty like simplified. I don't think anything is too like crazy heavy or anything, but you know, check those warnings if you want to know what they are. That it deals with. Really enjoyed it. I thought it might be a 5 stars, but it didn't quite reach that mark for me. All right, and then the next book is The Castle of the Winds by Christina Bear, the 3rd in the Secrets of the Ormdale series. I was just flying through this series this month, guys. This was the last one I read this month, though. And this one was interesting. It definitely picked up quite a bit. I did end up giving this one a 4.25 stars. Like the first one picked up a lot. There was a lot more action, a lot more stuff going on. And my dear goodness, am I excited for what is to come in the next few books? Because wow, I can't really say much because it's like the third book. But guys, like stuff is seriously happening. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going to happen? I'm very excited to pick up the fourth one. Like, oh, I'm on the edge of my seat with some of the stuff that happened in this one. The next book that I read was Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. This is by Heather Fawcett. This is about Emily Wilde, who goes to try to finish up her Encyclopedia of Fairies. Eventually, one of her colleagues, Wendell, comes to join her and to annoy her, and they both get into some trouble with the Fae of where she's at. So it's quite an interesting tale. It was definitely not what I was expecting. I will say that. Lot of more darker themes, and just the fae and fairies in general were a lot darker and scarier and creepier than I was expecting. I didn't love it, honestly. Didn't love those vibes. It's also a side characters that are lesbian, and their relationship is, I wouldn't say huge because they're side characters, but it does play a prevalent role at one point in the storyline. So that was something I didn't love. There is a bit of cussing in this. The thing I liked the most in this, and I'm not sure if I gave my rating. My rating was only 2.75 stars for this one, guys. And honestly, the thing that brought it up that close to a 3 stars in general was the banter between Wendell and Emily. They were quite funny. I liked the little spark of romance that was going on between them. And I really liked kind of like what they were doing with Wendell's character too. This isn't one that I'm really interested enough in to continue the series, though. So just going to stop it here. Read it. I tried it. Wasn't for me. Last book that I read in the month of September was You Are Fatally Invited. And I do not remember who this is by, but I'll have it up here on the screen. So this was kind of an And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, which is one of my favorite books. Kind of an inspired like thriller of that. And so instead of the twist that she takes on this story is that it is a bunch of thriller writers come to this island to kind of have this writing retreat thing with another writer. So it's an interesting like little twist. They definitely put in their own twist and everything. It also gives some Clue vibes. But it's a lock room murder mystery thriller, and I really enjoyed it, honestly. Like, it was a lot of fun for me. She gave enough like twists and turns in different directions that she took her story from like the original And Then There Were None, that it didn't seem like a copy or a ripoff, but you can definitely get some of the vibe. And obviously like the setup is semi the same. So I really did enjoy that a lot. I have not rated a thriller this high before. If I did not say it, it's 4.5. My dear goodness, I can't remember to say the ratings. But I haven't rated a mystery thriller like that high in a while. So I had a lot of fun with this one, guys. And I believe this is his debut novel. I think it came out in February or March of this year. So I don't read a whole lot of like new rising stuff. So I was very surprised, and I very, very much enjoyed my time with it. All right, and now since I did not get to doing an October TBR, I'm just going to kind of throw it in here at the end. I'm not going to talk about these books. I'm just going to tell you what it is, what I'm reading, and you guys, can make comments in the comments if you want. The first book that I have on my October TBR is Brave New World by Alex Huxley. Had this on my TBR quite a few times, so we'll see if I get to it this month. The next book is Shady Hollow. This is by I feel like that's just like June. I don't know how you say her name. Black. Very interested and curious about this little cozy mystery middle grade series. A Man Called Ove by Frederick Bachman. This was one of my book club picks in my BFF book club, and I still haven't read it, so I need to read it to catch up. So, yeah. The Magic Hour, or just Magic Hour by Kristen Hanna. Know nothing about it. Halloween Party by Agatha Christie, because it's October, guys. Come on. All In by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, the third in the Natural series. The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. Know nothing about it. Pet Cemetery by Stephen King. Enough said. Recursion by Blake Crouch. Yeah. And The Two Towers by J.R.R. Tolkien. That's right. So yeah, that right there, that's my October stack. It's trying to kill me right now. October stack. There we go. I'm having a very hard time balancing this. Books down. Anyway, let me know what you read this month and what your favorite read of the month was. What was my favorite read? I don't know. Whichever one was the highest, I guess. One of those. And are you interested in any of these books that I read this month? And if so, which one? I would love to know about it in the comments. And I hope you guys will have a great October month of reading. I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.